30.
All right, I think we're live, right, Madam Administrator?
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Judiciary Committee public hearing for Wednesday, February 24th. We have one item before us today, and that's the Governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the appellate court. Nomination for review. Any remarks by my chair or ranking members before we get going?
No, sir.
Being none. Attorney Clark, if you could raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information you provide to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or on a penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. If you have an opening statement, you can go ahead and make it at this time.
Thank you, and good morning, Chairman Winfield and Staffstrom, and ranking members Kissel and Fishbein, and distinguished members of the Judiciary Committee. My name is Robert Clark, and I am deeply honored, grateful, and humbled to appear before you today as a nominee for a position as a judge on the Connecticut Appellate Court. And I am most thankful to Governor Lamont for his trust and confidence in me. By way of background, I grew up in a working class neighborhood in Yalesville section of Wallingford, Connecticut. I was very fortunate to have the love and support of my parents. My father was a printer by trade. His name was Bill. My mom, Loretta, is still with us. She was a teacher in Wallingford. They taught me the importance, both through their words and deeds, of fairness, humility, honesty, compassion, and hard work. And without their support and their examples, I certainly would not be here before you today. I'm also very fortunate to have been married to my wife, Erin, for more than 15 years now. And I'm deeply grateful to her for her love, support, and patience, and particularly the sacrifices she has made in order to allow me to pursue my own professional goals. Erin and I have two daughters, ages 13 and 10, and they are the loves of our lives. Raising them has taught us both the importance and rewards of patience, compromise, and sacrifice. I've been no less fortunate professionally. I attended public schools in Wallingford, and I went on to graduate from the University of Connecticut for both my undergraduate and law degrees. I like to say my professional and legal career actually began about, hard to believe, 28 years ago when I interned and later served as an assistant clerk in this committee. I will say it was largely that experience and the encouragement and support that I received from the two chairs at the time, Representative Tulisano and State Senator Jepson, that ultimately led me to decide to attend UConn Law School, where I earned my degree in 1997. Following law school, I practiced at the law firms of Dayberry and Howard, now Day Pitney, and Cranber Levin in New York City, focusing on commercial litigation and corporate bankruptcies. And in 2004, I left private practice to serve as an assistant attorney general in the special litigation department of the Connecticut Attorney General's office. It was that experience that gave me really a love and understanding of how much I really enjoy public service. In that role, I represented all three branches of state government in state and federal trial and appellate courts. And many of the matters that I handled with others in that department during that time involved very difficult and unique constitutional and statutory construction questions with very significant policy ramifications. In 2011, I became special counsel to the Attorney General. In that capacity, I reported directly to him, advised him on a broad range of legal and legislative matters, served on the office's litigation management committee, and supervised and participated in discrete litigation matters, the issuance of formal Attorney General opinions, and the review and approval of state contracts and regulations. I also represented the Attorney General before the General Assembly during that 8-year period, or 7.5-year period, I guess it was. In 2018, I was appointed a Superior Court judge. During my brief tenure on the bench, I presided over the criminal and juvenile dockets in Bridgeport. And in January 2019, I left the bench to take on my current role as general counsel to the governor. All of these experiences have shaped and informed my background and views about the law and government and how they both affect the lives of real people. They've instilled in me an appreciation and respect for the important and separate roles that each of the three branches of government play. And they've taught me a great deal about the legislative process and how laws are passed and how they affect all of us. If fortunate enough to be confirmed and appointed to the appellate court, I will work very hard to ensure laws are interpreted and applied fairly and consistently. And I will do my best to write clear and principled decisions that trial courts, lawyers, and the public can rely upon and understand. I will strive to promote the credibility and independence of the judicial branch, as well as the public's trust, confidence, and understanding of the judiciary's role. And I'm just going to go off script very briefly. That's never a good idea, I understand. But this past year has been really the most challenging, as it has been for so many of us, for me professionally and also personally. And I'd be remiss if I weren't to thank my staff. I have 3 lawyers and an assistant in my office. Doug Delano is my deputy, and my assistant, Janice Denal and Walter Menivar and Kristen Campanelli, who I had to lean on and were so crucial to me in trying to succeed in the role and what it's posed over the past year. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank all of them and share with you how grateful I am to all that they've done, not just for me, but for the people of the state. And thank you again for the opportunity to speak to you about my nomination. I'm happy to answer any questions any of you may have.
Thank you, Attorney Clark, and certainly hearty congratulations on your nomination. Senator Kissel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Clark, how long have we known each other?
Well, I don't want to date either one of us too much, Senator, but it's been a long time, hasn't it?
It has been a long time. It looks like you're in the Capitol right now, are you?
I am. I'm in my office. I occasionally am able to come here. I miss the days, I'd say to a lot of the freshman legislators, it's unfortunate they're not getting a true taste of what life is like when the legislature's in. But yes, I'm in my office today.
Yeah, well, they will eventually.
Right.
I have the greatest optimism. First of all, you have a fabulous reputation. You're a straight shooter. You've done really good things for the people of the state of Connecticut. I'm just wondering, though, you've gone from Superior Court judge, now you're going to the appellate court. What caused that shift in your desire?
Well, Senator, when I first applied to become eligible to be a judge, in other words, went through the Judicial Selection Commission back in late 2017, I did apply for both courts, understanding that perhaps it was unlikely, back then, that my first jump would be to the appellate court. But, I very much enjoyed my time in the trial court, and I don't want anyone to get the impression that I didn't, and that's why I left. It was really the unique opportunity that this particular position presented, and the knowledge, I guess, that maybe there'd be a shot to go back. And as much as I enjoyed the trial court and wouldn't rule out going back there if that's what the governor thought was best for me, my experience, particularly while in state government, has primarily been dealing with legal issues and thorny ones at that, and both as an assistant attorney general in the special litigation department at the attorney general's office, which is, while not sort of formally the appellate group, is the department that probably handles most of the appeals for that office, and certainly most of the constitutional and many of the most significant ones. And then obviously during my time serving as special counsel and covering this building and serving on the litigation management committee and playing in this role, I think that frankly the appellate court might be a better fit for my background. And so far as I didn't do a ton of trial work as a lawyer, it was really more of a motion and argument type practice where I appeared in court primarily arguing legal issues. And obviously since that time, I've spent a lot of time advising public officials about legal issues. My emphasis on practice was not jury trial, certainly, and not really trial work either.
Well, thank you very much. And again, thank you for your public service. Like I said, you're highly regarded. I know by everybody in my caucus. And you've done some really good work guiding the governor on certain legal matters, judicial branch areas, things like that. You know what I'm talking about. And I appreciate that very much so. And you're a young guy, so you've got huge horizons ahead of you, zipping up to the appellate court. And I just wish you the very best. That's all I can say. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator. Representative Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I can claim the mantle of having known Bob the longest. Bob and I have known each other since the late 1970s when we were kids growing up at the YMCA Outdoor Center in Meriden and playing with our Star Wars figures and knock down, drag them out tennis matches that we always had. And we remained close friends until college sent us in different directions. And I don't think that either one of us 40 some odd years ago would have thought we would have gotten to the day where we were both lawyers and one of us was about to become an appellate judge and the other one was going to have a vote in making that happen. And you know, it is an extreme honor for me to be a part of this process today, having known Bob for so long. And everything that he said about his upbringing was my upbringing. His mom was a teacher, mine was a physical therapist. His dad was a printer, mine was a salesman. Both were good golfers. Unfortunately, a trait that was not passed down to me. But, you know, having known Bob for as long as I have, he is just a fine person, a fine lawyer, and will make a fine and outstanding jurist. And again, it is just such an honor for me to be a part of this process. And Bob, I wish you all the best in this next endeavor.
Thank you, Representative Quinn. And I recommend that neither of us get together and play tennis anytime soon. I don't know about you, but my lower half isn't quite what it used to be. So, yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Ranking Member Fishbein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Attorney Clark. While I don't play tennis often and I haven't been able to play golf in 5 years, I too did grow up in Yalesville.
Yeah.
So I know I am older than you are, but never met you until I got to the Capitol. And, you know, I will say that we've always had good discussions. I think, you know, nonpartisan, very healthy discussions about various issues. I had a few questions. When did you first go to work at the Attorney General's office?
I began at the Attorney General's office in July of 2004.
Okay, so that was when Attorney General Jepsen was already there?
No, I was hired by Attorney General Blumenthal.
Okay. And okay, just trying to orient your timeline to facts and circumstances. And presently, as the general counsel for the governor, what is your day-to-day role?
Well, I wish I could say there was a sort of a typical day. I am in particular over the past year, have been all of us in this office a bit preoccupied, frankly, with the pandemic and with obviously all the executive orders and the litigation that has arisen out of that. And so I'm frequently advising the governor on those types of matters, frequently, really on a daily basis. And I should have frankly thanked this group in my opening, you know, talking to the folks over at the Attorney General's office, about litigation, not just with respect to the pandemic, but sort of with respect to all the agencies in the state on a fairly regular basis. And, you know, making sure that the governor and the team here within the office are aware of all the laws that govern what we do, from everything from FOI to ethics to executive action, or in some cases legislation. So, you know, it's a very broad range of issues, and, you know, whatever my calendar might tell me, Representative, on a given day, my day is going to look like, it frequently will change very quickly as issues kind of pop, either from the, you know, the various agencies or the folks over at the AG's office, or you know, our legislative shop. So it's a broad portfolio.
No, I understand, and I live a similar existence.
Right.
And when you're advising with regard to the agencies, who is your client at that point?
My client is always the governor, and you know, the commissioners are appointed by the governor, and so I don't need to be micromanaging everything they do, and I don't ask for that. I do tell them that if there is a significant matter, you know, either because of its potential precedent, legal precedent for not just that agency or others, or is likely to get, frankly, media attention, or is just a very significant policy matter, I want them to let me know. And they do that primarily through contacting either me directly, but I also assign each of my 3 attorneys to an agency. And so it's not every piece of litigation that I'm involved in or even aware of or supervising. But I think they have a pretty good sense of what the rules of the road are and what the expectations are about when they're going to let me know about what's happening. And it's worked out fairly well.
So when typically an action is brought against an agency and it's brought to your attention because that matter may have certain media attention or something like that, are you part of the legal strategy on those matters?
Not always. Sometimes, you know, I'll look at it and make a judgment about, is this something that the governor himself ought to be made aware of? You know, who's working on it at the Attorney General's office? You know, so it really depends on the nature of the issue. I mean, I don't say that there's sort of a hard and fast rule, but I use my judgment as to, you know, the extent to which I need to be involved. And, you know, some cases I'll get very involved and get on the phone directly with the AGs and the legal counsel within the agency. Sometimes I'll invite our chief of staff into those calls, you know, talk to the governor about it. Maybe sometimes I'll tell the governor to talk to the attorney general about it with me. But that's rare. Most of the time, I either don't hear about it, or if I do, I just kind of check the boxes and make sure it's being handled from my perspective appropriately, and then make a judgment as to whether or not I need to elevate it and at least put it on the governor's radar, as opposed to bring to him some sort of decision point.
And, you know, you, assuming that the nomination is approved and you're sitting on the appellate court, what would be your reaction to an appellate review of one of those or many of those cases, especially during the pandemic?
Yeah. So look, I put this in my questionnaire, and you were good enough to speak to me a little bit, you know, informally before the hearing, to give me a heads up that this was a concern of yours. And, you know, it's something I've thought a lot about. I had to think about it, frankly, Representative, when I went from the Attorney General's office to the Superior Court as well. And I am very familiar with the Judicial Code of Ethics, which, broadly speaking, basically require that judges, you know, disqualify themselves if it's necessary to ensure that that litigants are confident that the judge is being impartial or incapable of being impartial, and there won't be any appearance of any sort of conflict. And then, obviously, with respect to government lawyers in particular, it speaks to you know, whether or not the government lawyer was personally and substantially involved in any given legal matter. I will say, I cannot imagine that I would sit on a case that involved in any way the governor's emergency powers or any of the orders issued by this office or any of the agencies relating to the pandemic. I think I've been far too involved in all of that to serve on any case that would involve that type of challenge.
Which I guess begs, the next question, which, as far as I know, we're still in a pandemic. So why, well, I guess it's a question for the governor, why he would, in the middle of a pandemic, elevate his own general counsel to the appellate court. I think is an important question, which I don't know that you can answer that, because certainly this is permissive. You seem to be a very qualified, and I will say, I think you've done a good job for your client. But it's an interesting move during a pandemic where businesses are closed and some people can't go to work. And the guy who's been there at the governor's elbow advising, knee deep on executive orders and legality, potentially next week could be gone onto the appellate court. It's interesting. While you were a Superior Court judge, which I thank Senator Kissel for asking his question and your answer with regard to that, because there's a lot of people out there that aspire to be a Superior Court judge. I know there's a lengthy list of individuals who have wanted that, and I was a little troubled when you left after 7 months. And if I heard correctly, you sat on criminal and juvenile. And during that term, did you write any opinions as a judge?
I in juvenile I did. In the GA, no. In the GA, it was, as you might know, a pretty busy docket. I was doing, domestic violence and motor vehicle matters. So yes, I wrote a little bit in the juvenile court, but again, I wasn't on the bench for long enough, certainly, to have put together much of a record of written decisions.
Which is usually a hot spot for me, because there's lots of Superior Court judges out there that have been in the trenches for a long time, many of which aspire to go to the appellate court as well. These are all concerns. I'm going to vote in favor of your nomination. I think you're a guy, and I articulate, good attorney. I'm just concerned, and I hope that the governor at some point can answer why this is necessary during a pandemic. So I thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative.
Representative Blumenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and it's great to see you, Attorney Clark. Thank you for your service during this pandemic to the governor and to the state, as well as your long record of public service. I'll say before my question that I think you are highly qualified for this position, and I actually appreciate especially your background, your varied background in public service, especially your background in dealing with the legislature, which some people might count as a black mark against you, but I certainly don't. My first question for you is in relation to that. I think one of the things that I've noticed, both working as a legislator and also being in private practice and practicing before our courts, and especially our appellate court, is that there seems to be often a vast gulf between how this building, the General Assembly, works and how judges think it works, especially in relation to statutory interpretation. So I was wondering if you could talk to us a bit about how your experience in really all three branches of government, but especially dealing with the General Assembly, will inform your work especially in the realm of statutory interpretation, and whether and how you think you'll be able to share your perspective and your experience with the rest of your colleagues on the appellate court.
Well, thank you, Representative, and those are really good questions. I'm not sure I have, at this point, complete answers to provide that would maybe not change, once I'm in the position of actually having the opportunity to, play that role of jurist, interpreting statutes. I will obviously follow the appropriate rules of statutory construction, including those that are set out in state statute, which require us to start with the text under 1-2Z and its relation to other statutes before even thinking about going to other types of sources. And I think that's frankly, I think that's an appropriate approach, even if the statute didn't exist. And I think the case was Court Chesney, which basically adopted a very similar, if not identical, approach. And look, I think I'll have the opportunity once I'm in the role to get a better sense of what that experience, how those experiences might shape my approach to those types of questions. I do think it will be helpful in potentially maybe enlightening people about what they ought to be looking at versus what they need not or maybe not look at once you go beyond the text. Because as you say, the process up here is, if you haven't been in it, you don't always have a good sense as to, what's a really good indication of what the legislature intended. And so I think I have that. And so to the extent, I find myself in a position where there is ambiguity in a text and we have to go beyond that, and we start to look at legislative history, I think I'll probably just have a better sense for, what types of things are worth thinking about and emphasizing and maybe which things aren't. But again, I haven't spent too much time yet thinking about how all that might ultimately play out. So that's my best answer for now.
Thank you. I think, it's a very good answer. I think I agree that it's important, to start with the statutory text, but also I think that it's important, and I think will be beneficial to you and to the appellate court that you understand how legislatures work and, how to, I think, divine in some ways that other lawyers may not legislative intent. And not to belabor the point too much, but I just wanted to ask you also, in terms of, again, statutory interpretation, especially, how do you think that you will think about precedent? Obviously you have to follow state Supreme Court precedent as an appellate judge, also have to follow United States Supreme Court precedent, but how will you think about what the scope of precedent is? You view yourself as someone who, of course, will follow the law that's promulgated by courts above you, but do you view yourself as someone who has kind of the independent conviction to make your interpretation of the law, again, in accordance not only with the Supreme Court precedent, state Supreme Court or United States Supreme Court, but also, I guess, you're applying your own intellect and independent thought?
I'm not. If you're asking what my view is about sort of the importance of stare decisis in general, it's very important. I think not only with respect to, look, obviously as an appellate court judge, I'll be in certain circumstances, there will be clear controlling precedent and there'll be no opportunity and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to depart from it. But in the broader sense, stare decisis is important for all the reasons that, scholars and great jurists have talked about through the years, which is, it helps build in some consistency and predictability for parties and lawyers to rely upon. And it also, I think, promotes the credibility of the branch and the decisions that come down from courts for the public at large. And so, I view it as a very important doctrine. And I think that there are only, and I'm not, again, if I had an opportunity to, I don't know what opportunity, I guess the only opportunity would be if the appellate court decided to revisit an issue that the appellate court itself had previously decided and hadn't been appealed. And so there wasn't controlling precedent from the Supreme Court, either at the federal or the state level. And, you have to be very, very careful, I think, about reversing course. It's not to say you can't do it. The factors are, I think, out there, and off the top of my head, I think they include, things like, is it clear? Is it still workable? Has it sort of become generally accepted by courts and the bar and the public at large? But it would be a rare circumstance, and one that a judge and a court would have to think about very carefully, I think, when they approach those types of questions.
Thank you, Attorney Clark. I think my question wasn't clear, and it also wasn't quite fair to you and your position before us today. But I think you bring tremendous useful experience and intellect to the job. I support your nomination, as if that wasn't clear already. And I really hope that you'll bring all of your experience, especially your intellect, to the job and make some really good law for the state of Connecticut and the litigants before you.
Thank you, Representative Blumenthal. And I should have asked you to clarify rather than answering the question. I apologize if I didn't do a good job answering your question.
No, you did very well. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Attorney Clark.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you both. Chairman Winfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Attorney Clark. I want to start by letting you know I'm supporting your nomination because clearly you bring a wealth of knowledge and experience across various parts of government that I think will be useful in doing the work that you're going to be doing. And at the same time, I want to let you know that I'm appreciative of the questions that Senator Kissel and Representative Fishbein asked of you, because I've actually been asked very similar questions. I was going to have to pose those questions to you. And thank you for the answer. And I just want to ask you one question, and the question itself may not seem all that important, but it actually takes on a level of importance because the question is about what we should be asking. And given your experience, you may be able to actually give a good answer on this. What we should be asking people like yourself who sit in front of us, because I remember the questions we traditionally ask don't always yield everything we need to know. And I remember asking one time a prospective judge, actually he was actually already on the bench. I remember asking him about the concept of justice and where it fit in. And you may have even seen this, that person wasn't reconfirmed because of the way that how that devolved. And so my question to you is, as someone who has watched this process and seeing the frustrations of some of us with how it sometimes operates and seeing the frustrations of the public, do you think there is a question or a set of questions that might be useful to think about asking that we don't always ask? And I recognize why you might not have the answer, but I thought as somebody who's had the experience you had, that you might have done some thinking about this in the past.
Well, you know what, Senator, I don't know that I would. I actually think that you guys do a pretty good job of asking pretty good questions, and I think I'm in the unique position of having kind of been on both sides of this process now. I'm sort of the first one, maybe the last gate towards the governor for people who want to be judges, and so I've met with I would guess, over 100 different people, over my brief, I guess, couple of years now, who want to be judges, and I interview them. And, I don't go at it like some of my, and there's nothing wrong with, what others have done in this role with sort of a standard boilerplate. And it's easier for me because it's not in a public setting. I just try to get to know the person. And I just try to get a sense, I can read their resume. I know what their sort of professional credentials are. I know whether they've gotten through JSC, judicial selection, presumably. So I just want to know who they are, where they come from, what do they care about? What are their values? Why do they want to be a judge? And that's a little different, though, I guess, than a reappointment, because at that point you have a pretty good sense of, what they've done. And, maybe when it comes to a reappointment, your question is, what have you learned? How different has this experience been? What would you as a judge, what do you wish you knew, before you got into it? So, I don't know if that's helpful, Senator, but, I do think just having and so, you guys can do this as well. You can do it outside of a public hearing. You can sit down with judges informally and just, in that context, they may be more comfortable, and you might get a better read of just who they are, what their background is, what they care about, what they don't. And that, I think, will help you get a better sense of, how they're going to approach the job. And it's not an easy job. I've sat, even though it was brief, I sat there, and I'll never forget the first time I put someone in jail. I'll never forget that moment. And it never gets easier. Or when I had to terminate someone's parental rights. I mean, these are really difficult jobs. There's nowhere to hide. You're accountable. And as much as people, there's so many people who want to do it, so many people who think they want to do it, so many people who are good at it. Some are better than others. And my approach, at least, has been obviously to understand their professional credentials and their background, make sure they're sort of qualified professionally, that they don't have any personal issues that, might interfere with their ability to do the job. But I'm mostly trying to get a sense for who these people are,
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think you may actually have a good answer whether we're talking about a reappointment or not. I mean, the person who didn't make it back to the bench, the question on what justice was and how it relates to what they would be doing actually revealed a lot about who that person was, even though it was a reappointment. So, but anyway, thank you very much for that answer, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator. Further questions from the committee? If not, Attorney Clark, I want to obviously echo a lot of the sentiment I heard today. Certainly, you are eminently qualified. I personally am going to miss you both in the current role you're in, and certainly appreciated the role you played for the former Attorney General when you were in that role, and worked so well with the leadership of this committee then as well. I as much as we're going to miss seeing you here in the Capitol, and as much as certainly the governor and this legislature are going to have to plod through the rest of this pandemic, unfortunately, without you by our side, I think you have admirably served this state in the role you're in for these past 2 years, and certainly I congratulate you and think the governor was correct in allowing you to advance your career and to move on to a new and exciting opportunity for you, and another opportunity to continue to serve our state. So thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's bittersweet for me as well. I've enjoyed all these years up here. We've had a lot of fun along the way, and I thank you for your service. I thank all of you for your service. I know your jobs aren't easy either, so thank you.
All right, with that, I would like to close our public hearing for today. I will convene the committee meeting. I don't think there's been a request to caucus. I'm looking at our ranking members. I don't see any. So with that, I will move right on to item number 3 on our agenda, appellate nominations for review. May I have a motion to favorably report on the governor's nomination
So moved.
of
Second.
Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the Appellate Court. I have a motion from Senator Winfield. I have a second from Senator Kissel. Is there discussion on this nomination? Is there discussion on this nomination? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask the administrator to please call the roll.
Senator Winfield.
Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Senator Winfield has voted in the affirmative. Representative Staffstrom.
Representative Staffstrom votes in the affirmative.
Staffstrom voted in the affirmative. Senator Kasser.
Senator Kasser votes in the affirmative.
Senator Kasser has voted in the affirmative. Representative Blumenthal. Senator Kissel.
Senator Kissel votes yes.
Okay. Senator Kissel, could you please repeat that so I can see your face?
I said Senator Kissel votes yes.
Thank you, Senator Kissel, for voting yes. Representative Blumenthal.
Representative Blumenthal votes yes.
Representative Blumenthal has voted yes. Representative Fishbein.
Representative Fishbein votes in the affirmative.
Representative Fishbein has voted in the affirmative. Senator Anwar. Senator Bradley. Representative Callahan.
Representative Callahan votes yes.
Representative Callahan has voted yes. Senator Champagne.
Senator Champagne votes yes.
Senator Champagne has voted yes. Representative Concepcion. Representative Conley. Representative Conley votes yes. Representative Conley has voted yes. Representative Curry.
Representative Curry votes yes.
Representative Curry has voted yes. Thank you. Representative Dillon. Representative DeMassa. Representative Doucette.
Rep. Doucette votes yes.
Representative Doucette has voted yes. Representative Dubitsky.
Representative Dubitsky votes yes.
Representative Dubitsky has voted yes. Representative Fiorello.
Representative Fiorello votes yes.
Representative Fiorello has yes. Senator Flexer. Representative Fox. Representative Godfrey. Representative
Harding votes yes.
Harding has voted yes. Senator Haskell.
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Senator Haskell has voted yes. Representative Howard.
Representative Howard votes yes.
Representative Howard has voted yes. Representative Labriola. Representative Labriola. Senator Lesser.
Senator Lesser votes yes.
Senator Lesser has voted yes. See the baby. Representative Luxembourg. Representative Luxembourg. Representative Miller. Representative O'Day.
Representative O'Day votes yes.
Representative O'Day has voted yes. Representative Palm.
Representative Pond votes yes.
Representative Palm has voted yes. Representative Pavlak D'Amato. Representative Porter. Representative Quinn.
Representative Quinn enthusiastically votes yes.
Representative Quinn enthusiastically votes yes. Representative Rabimbis.
Representative Rabimbis votes yes.
Representative Rabimbis has voted yes. Representative Riley.
Representative Riley votes yes.
Representative Riley has voted yes. Senator Sampson. Senator Sampson. Representative Sims. Representative Veach.
Representative Veach votes yes.
Representative Veach has voted yes. Representative Walker. And Representative Young.
Representative Young votes yes.
Representative Young has voted yes. Thank you. The votes will be held open till the start of the scheduled House session at 11:30.
Madam Administrator, I think you got Representative Labriola there looking to vote.
Representative Labriola.
Representative Labriola votes yes.
Could you please repeat that? I just cut the last part of your face.
Representative Labriola votes yes.
Representative Rabiel has voted yes. Thank you.
All right. So just so the record's clear, the votes will be held open until 11:30. Our next meeting is Friday. We have a public hearing beginning at 10 a.m. on the governor's cannabis legalization legislation. So that'll be 10 o'clock on Friday morning. And with that, we stand in recess until 11:30. John? John?
Yeah, yes?
Check your email. I want you and Gary and Craig on a call quickly if we can.
We can do that.
Okay. Check your email for the link.
Sure. And by the way, we were supposed to go in tomorrow and we're not going in until Monday.
All right.
All right, I'll check my email right now. Although my cell phone is not working.
Hello.
Hello, Rep. Luxembourg. How would you care to vote?
I am a Representative Luxembourg votes yes.
Representative Luxembourg has voted yes on the nomination of Robert W. Clark to be a judge of the appellate court and judge of the Superior Court. Thank you.
With enthusiasm.
With enthusiasm. Thank you. Representative Pavlak D'Amato, are you available? Rep. Porter. Senator Flexer. Available. Representative Concepcion. Mute myself.
There we go.
Okay. Representative Walker, how do you care to vote on the well, it's not a resolution, on the governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the Appellate Court?
I vote in the affirmative.
Thank you. Representative Walker has voted in the affirmative. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Representative Pavlak D'Amato. How are you?
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How do you care to vote on the governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the Appellate Court?
Pavlak D'Amato votes in the affirmative.
Pavlak D'Amato has voted in the affirmative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Representative Porter, are you there yet? Representative Concepcion?
Deb, this is Kevin. Are you there?
Yes, I am here, Kevin.
Is the public hearing portion done?
The public hearing portion is done, yes, and we did not utilize the committee meeting portion. We're just using, we're running the committee meeting out of the public hearing, which I know is bad for transcription reasons, but it was just easier for the members to seamlessly go into the next.
Okay, so I'm going to shut the recorder down.
Fine. Thank you so much, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Representative Palm, or was that Representative Porter that I heard that wanted to vote? Representative Palm has voted. So Representative Porter, was that you?
Madam Administrator, are you on?
Yes, I am, Representative Concepcion. Thank you. Oh,
Good.
hold on a second. Sorry. There's my video. Okay. Hit the button.
Uh,
Alrighty.
So we're voting on Judge Clark, correct?
That, well, yes, with the potential nominee, Robert W. Clark. Yes. Former
Great.
Judge Clark. Yes, we are. Okay, so how would you care to vote? That was the resolution, the nomination confirming the governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the Appellate Court.
So Representative Concepcion votes in the affirmative.
Representative Concepcion has voted in the affirmative. Thank you so much for circling back and meeting.
Oh, no, thank you. Thanks for keeping the votes open.
Okay, you're welcome. My pleasure. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, I sure will. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Hello, Senator Sampson.
Madam Administrator, delighted to see you.
We were looking for you. Representative Brian Caffarelli was on the other line looking for you. And I says, well, maybe perhaps when he got out of the hearing, he like removed himself from the hearing and he can't get back in. But then he said, no, he's in the committee meeting link.
Right. I was trying to get in the committee meeting link.
Right, which was the instructions. It's just that we're trying to make it a little bit easier for everybody and just keep going with the public hearing. It's going to wreak havoc with the transcript, but nonetheless.
I gotcha. Well, I'm here now. Did I miss the vote?
You did miss the vote, but you did not miss the vote.
I understand. I missed the actual vote when it took place, but I'm still eligible. I appreciate
You are
it.
still eligible to vote. That was a motion to favorably report on the governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the Appellate Court. How would you care to vote, Representative Sampson?
Senator Sampson votes no.
Senator Sampson votes no. We knew we could count on you to mix things up. Senator Sampson has voted no.
That's correct. Thank you very much, Madam Administrator.
Thank you. And we will see you, what day is it today? Wednesday, Friday.
Friday, yes. Can't wait.
Can't all day.
See you later, Deb. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. sorry, Rep Fox. I didn't mean to ignore you there.
No problem at all. How you doing?
How are you doing?
Doing well. Good to be back. In
Good.
limited capacity, but still we're back, so that's good.
Absolutely, absolutely. How would you care to vote on the governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the appellate court?
Rep Fox votes in the affirmative.
Representative Fox has voted in the affirmative. Perfect. Excellent.
Thank you.
Well done.
That was easy.
It was easy. Now you can tackle session.
Exactly. Will do. Thanks, Dad. Take care. Have a nice day.
You as well.
Yeah, but I can't hear anybody.
Hello, Representative Dillon.
Hello,
How
how are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. How would you like to vote?
Great to see you. I was there
Okay.
earlier and then
So would you?
I vote in the affirmative.
Okay. Representative Dillon has voted in the affirmative.
Dylan votes yes.
Representative Dillon has voted yes on the governor's motion for the nomination. There was a motion for the governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the Appellate Court, and Representative Dillon has voted yes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All set. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. Hello?
Hi, Deb.
Hello, Senator Anwar.
Hi. For some reason, the other link isn't working for the votes.
Yes, and I do apologize. We are in the public hearing still because it was just so seamless to continue on with our public hearing, and we moved right into so I do apologize. Yes, I should have probably sent something out to the people that hadn't signed on yet. So yes, we are in the public hearing link still. So thank you for noticing that, but I do apologize.
Okay.
So there was just the one nomination, and that was there was a motion to favorably report on the governor's nomination of the Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court, judge of the Appellate Court. Senator Anwar, how do you care to vote?
Senator Anwar votes yes. Highly impressed by the conversation and the judge's capacity. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Senator Anwar, who has voted yes on the nomination. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. Sorry for the delay.
Madam Clerk? You there, Deb? Deb, are you there?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm getting there.
Hey.
Representative Porter. Yay,
Yeah.
there she is. Look at you all fancy. Love that.
Just got back from a press conference outside.
Nice. How was it out there?
It's really nice. The weather, the temperature, it's not bad as I thought it would be.
Good. Excellent, excellent. All righty. So we had the committee meeting, blah, blah, blah. You were there. And it was a motion to favorably report on the governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the Appellate Court. How would you care to vote, Representative Porter?
Representative Porter votes in the affirmative.
Representative Porter has voted in the affirmative. All righty, wonderful. So now we're all set with that. So now we're going on to session.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You take care.
Have a good day, Deb.
You as well.
Thanks.
At least you look cute. You might be rushed, but you look cute.
Thank you.
Take care. Representative Miller? Representative Miller, I just saw you. Now you just left. Here we are. Yeah, we are live. I just need to hear you. You put you're muted right now. Are you all?
I forgot. Excuse my.
No worries, no worries. And we went from the public hearing, we just stayed in the public hearing just for ease for the members. So we're not in the committee meeting yet, although we are doing a committee meeting right now. Okay, so I'll be quick because we've only got 8 more minutes. So I want to make sure that you have time to get logged into the House session. Okay. That was a motion to favorably report on the governor's nomination of Robert W. Clark of Durham to be a judge of the Superior Court and a judge of the Appellate. Representative Miller, how do you care to vote?
I vote yes.
Representative Miller has voted yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Representative Miller
All set.
votes yes.
Representative Miller has voted yes. Thank you
Yes,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you for taking the time
Thank
to
you.
get into the meeting.
You're the best. Thanks a lot, Deb, for all you do.
You're welcome. We appreciate it. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Okay, it is currently 11:30. The Judiciary Committee is now adjourned.